All right, this is Brian Kirkpatrick in preparation for the final speech number 5. My 5 people present: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And all you gotta do is just keep that on. Good morning, all. Again, my name is Brian Kirkpatrick, and I'm here today to give you a persuasive speech. I'm going to persuade you to take up fishing as a hobby or a sport. So today's specific purpose is that at the end of this speech, you are going to want to go out, pick up a fishing pole, go down to the river or lake, sit down and fish. My thesis statement is by the end, you will become familiar with the many benefits of fishing as a sport and a hobby. So here we are. Maybe it's been a bad day. Maybe it's been a bad week, and you've got to find some way to go out and relieve some stress. Work has been horrible. People have been making you mad all week long. You can't figure out how they could have been so stupid or how they could have done such things. But what to do? Your stress could build up, and you have to find a way to get rid of it. Sure, you could go out and run a few miles and release some stress, but who really wants to do that? Okay? You could go out and you could do the insanity workout. But then you think, you know what? That's just insane. You know, who am I? Some kind of athlete? Some Olympic person? No. So then you think back of a time when you're at a location where you heard the water flowing downstream, the sun was beaming down on your face, you felt nice and calm. You heard the birds chirping, the frogs croaking, and the crickets rubbing their little legs together. Now that's relaxing. Nature, yes, a relaxing stress reliever. Everything we just talked about, you can find down at the river or the lake with a fishing pole in your hand. Today we'll identify many benefits of fishing and why it should be an activity that we all participate in. We'll talk about 4 things briefly. The first is that fishing can be an excellent source of stress relief for the young and the not so young. Of course, fishing is an outdoor activity, and there have been multiple studies that suggest that outdoor activities are good for stress relief. An article I found on digitaljournal.com notes that 37% of Americans use outdoor activities as a form of stress relief. The same article notes that being just next to a body of water can actually calm anxiety. Finally, the same article states that 90% of kids who spend out time say that it improves their stress relief. Now, of course, sitting on a riverbank is peaceful, or a lake is peaceful and calming, but can you get any exercise from fishing? The answer to that is yes, of course you can. But how do we do that? Well, obviously the first and foremost exercise that you associate with fishing is simply walking. You got to get from your favorite parking spot to your favorite fishing hole. Now, I personally have walked up to, and sometimes a little more, than a half mile to get to my favorite fishing spot. And then, of course, when that fishing spot's no good, you got to walk either farther down the river or farther around the lake to get to your next favorite fishing spot. Of course, you can do this walking all day long. Along with the walking to and from your favorite spot, you got to remember that the area isn't always flat. So you're going to find yourself walking up and down hills, walking up and down riverbanks. And if you've ever been to a steep riverbank, you know how sometimes physically challenging that can be. Besides the riverbanks, going to and from your car, you got to pack all your gear with you. So you got your tackle box, you got your fishing pole, you got your net, you got your cooler full of soda and lunch. And if you can't make all that in one trip, it's going to take 2 for an all-day event. So you can find yourself some exercise while fishing. Not only is it good for stress release, as we talked, and now you know you can get some exercise, there are some environmental benefits to fishing. As with many states, the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries notes that fees paid for fishing licenses goes towards funding specific wildlife programs or conservation programs. Oftentimes, states purchase lands to set aside just for fishermen so they don't get developed. And that, of course, is good for the ecosystem and maintains habitat for local animals. And then, of course, once you get a love like fishing for me, you'll find yourself contributing to the environment by cleaning up the area around you. I mean, certainly you want to keep your area pristine, so the aluminum cans, the trash cans, the trash bags, you'll naturally find yourself cleaning up the area whenever you leave. So we know we're good for the environment, we know we can get stress relief, and we can get a little exercise. So there is one other benefit that I want to talk about fishing, and it's the economic benefit to fishing. Fishing generates huge amounts of dollars for the Missouri economy. I found a website called voices.yahoo.com that talked about Missouri fishing, and in 2006, fishing in Missouri brought in $1.7 billion of revenue, which surprised me. That's a lot of money. But in bringing in those dollars, fishing supported over 21,000 jobs. Now, when you start thinking about all the things associated with it, the sporting stores, the bait stores, all those things, I guess it comes into play. But that's a significant impact for the Missouri. So, with all the benefits that we talked about, we most certainly can come to only one conclusion. And what's that? We should go fishing. So in conclusion, we know that fishing is an outstanding choice for a recreational activity. Fishing and outdoors activities have been studied and has been suggested that they are an excellent source of stress relief. Fishing is not just sitting and doing nothing. There are some physical activities like walking and climbing that you'll do with it. Walking to and from your favorite fishing hole and fishing spots, along with moving all your equipment, can be a small workout for many of us. It is obviously more activity than you would get sitting at home on your couch watching Sunday afternoon golf. While you're out fishing, you benefit the environment in several ways. First, your funding of licenses and other expenditures maintains employment for many Missouri personnel, and it funds wildlife and fish programs for your state. Next, through your sustainment of the environment, the little things that you do while you're out fishing to clean up will help the environment and those things that live inside. You can be one of those outdoor enthusiasts that support over 21,000 Missouri jobs. With all these positives, how can you come to any other conclusion than to pick a nice sunny day, grab your fishing pole, head down to the river, and catch a big one? So I say to you all, good luck, catch a big one, and thank you for your time.